Hey guys, MG here from mgcovers.com. Super Bowl week, we're excited. What we're going to do in this video, we're going to do Super Bowl 53 betting preview between the New England Patriots and the Los Angeles Rams. We're going to give you a complete statistical analysis, some situational angles, and at the very end, we're going to give you a free pick and our actual pick that we're going to play. So let's get started. Okay, first let's look at the Super Bowl 53 odds. Now, this might change when you watch this video. We're actually recording this video. It's Thursday night before the Super Bowl, approximately 9 o'clock. And I just got some odds from some different sports books in Vegas. What you're looking at is a line, basically New England minus 2.5. There is, William Hill actually has New England at -3. There's also a book there, -2. You're probably seeing similar lines this if you're using a offshore sports book. Or even a personal bookie, but these numbers are pretty consistent throughout the sportsbook industry. The over under 56.5. Now let's take a look at the spread where all the money's going. Now you got New England. Again, that shows the opener there at -1.5. Some places opened up at New England -1, and of course that's moved to New England -2.5. Now, what's interesting when you look at the wager, what that shows where the money's at. So 64% of the money on the spread is going on New England. That's no surprise. The general public in just about any sport will always put money on the favorite and also the over, and only 36% going with the Rams in the spread. Now this next slide, this is the money line. Now what the money line means, which team will win outright. So for New England, you're going to have to lay -122 in order for them to, if you think they won out, and the Rams is +112. Now, this is interesting. It's a little bit higher. Rams at 42%, New England 58%. Still, New England's getting the majority of the money, but there's a little bit more value in going with the underdog there, and I think that's why you see the Rams coming in at 42% as opposed to 36% on the spread. Okay, next let's take a look at the stat model. And real simple, what a stat model is a statistical model that we use that helps us accurately predict the outcome of a game. And generally, our stat model is better than what the general public uses as their stat model, and therefore that gives us an edge. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you, I could bore you with a lot of different numbers, but at the end of the day, these teams are pretty much dead even. If you look at a lot of the power rankings, they have them 1 and 2. And what we're going to take a look at, I mentioned in a previous video that I kind of experimented with time of possession, but I'm going to go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. That is one of my key stats that I use in handicapping the NFL. And if you look over here to the right, we have it highlighted in red. These are the last, the 2 playoff games that New England played, Los Angeles Rams played. Time of possession average per game, New England leads the playoffs at 41 minutes per game, followed by the Los Angeles Rams at 34 minutes per game. And if you look at the very bottom, Seahawks lost their game at 25 minutes per game. Indianapolis, 2. They actually won the first game, lost the second one. Baltimore lost in the first round, only 26 minutes time of possession. So time of possession really is a very good stat at helping you predict a winner. Now, and when you're thinking about this, you might be watching this thinking, well, what about the defense? Time of possession has nothing to do with the defense. Actually, you're wrong. It does. Because if you think about it, if the defense forces a lot of 3 and outs, maybe gets a turnover, that turns the ball back over to the offense. And if a team has the ball more often than their opponent, guess what happens? They have more scoring opportunities. They can kick field goals. They can score touchdowns. And if they have the ball more than the other team does, chances are they will win the game. So, like I said, at the end of the day, these teams are pretty even. Okay, next let's talk about some situational handicapping angles. And the reason this is important when you're handicapping a game is you can't just look at stats. You have to use stats as a basis, as a place to start, but you have to also look at different situational angles that sometimes are not stat related, sometimes they are. But it's definitely something that you have to address. So first, let's talk about the experience. Without a doubt, Tom Brady's going to probably go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks or the greatest NFL player of all time. He's 5-3 in the Super Bowl. Had 8 Super Bowl appearances, won 5. If he wins this, and that'll be 6. Bill Belichick, more than likely, will probably go down as the greatest football coach of all time. So without a doubt, New England has the advantage in the Super Bowl. Sean McVay, great coach, but again, it's his first Super Bowl. Same deal with the Jared Goff. It'll be his very first Super Bowl as well. So from the experience angle, we have to give New England a slight edge. Now, this is really interesting. What this is a chart that shows all of the Super Bowls, including this year, 2018 season, going all the way back to the 2009 season. Now, even though there's some stats involved, what we're going to focus on is just the Super Bowl itself, okay? Now, let's first, what I want to focus on is the odds. So let's start at 2017. If you can look across New England, Philadelphia, that was last year. New England was the favorite at -4.5. And we all know that New England won that game. So we're going to put a U there for the underdog. So let's back up to 2016, New England versus Atlanta. New England was the favorite, -3, but Atlanta had that game won. They were up 28-3, should have won the game, no doubt. Just absolutely blew it, folded and choked. And the reason I'm telling you this is because the underdog should have won that game, even though New England did, so we'll put an X there. Let's back up to 2015, Denver, Carolina. Carolina -4.5. Denver actually won that game convincingly, shut down Cam. Underdog won that one. New England, Seattle. We all remember this one. New England was favored to win this, -1. Seattle, again, should have won this Super Bowl. Should have ran the ball in with Marshawn. They didn't. Threw a pick last, 30 seconds to go. New England wins the game. So we'll put an X there. The favorite won, but the underdog should have won that game. So let's be honest. Denver, Seattle. Denver was favored in that game. Seattle, dominant defense, blew them out 43-8. Underdog won that game. 2012 season, Baltimore, San Francisco. San Francisco was the favorite. Baltimore won that game. 2011 season, New England versus the Giants. We all remember that. The immaculate catch from 2012 Super Bowl. Giants won that one, even though New England was the favorite. So we put another U for the underdog. 2010 season, Green Bay, Pittsburgh. Green Bay was the favorite. Actually won that game, so we'll put an X there. Back up to 2009, Indianapolis was the favorite, but we all know that New Orleans won that, given the underdog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins there in the last 8 years. Okay. And the reason I'm telling you this is that the Super Bowl is a very close game. And so when you might be asking yourself, well, how does these past seasons, how would that relate to this year's Super Bowl? Here's why. These teams have 2 weeks to prepare for this game. You're going to get the absolute best out of every single player at every single position. And when you take that into consideration, that's why the underdog has a slight edge in the Super Bowl. Okay?